people, and to outplay Melody C like that, that is not an easy thing to do.
And we see a slightly unexpected pick here. Doesn't look like SPT want to play CE on Battlefield as well. Once again, though, to be fair, the main SPT strategy for Battlefield it no longer really exists, which was basically we pick Valor and we win. So instead, they are bringing us to the Sky Temple.
Ooh, Sky Temple. Now, that is, of course, a whole different beast. Medivh could maybe see some play. I think he is amazing near the boss area if you want to contest them with Layla and Seal. The AoE protection could come in handy. But of course, the Stitch is now no longer a guaranteed factor. Although, we've been talking about it, Tetcher. We want to see more Stitches, even on different maps than Towers of Doom. We still think he has a spot in certain circumstances.
Yes, we do. And that is what we would like to see if he fits. We're not saying you should always pick Stitches. This is not a hypnotism. But we are saying if it's viable, you have good follow-up. And if you think you can make it work, Stitch is pretty decent.
You should always pick Varian. Okay.
I was told once when I tried to, when I was younger and had like even longer hair than I do now.
Yeah.
Where basically I tried on like my first tux, kind of thing, and I had the comment when I put it on social network at the time. And basically we got the response of you look like just a really, really cheap magician.
Oh.
And I was like,
didn't happen, Tetra.
I have no. That website doesn't even exist anymore, so literally impossible.
Never lucky. All right. So back into the draft, guys. Medivh is taken out of the equation immediately. SPT fully respecting Alufal, and that they should. So two of Alufal's most popular picks, most famous picks are now gone because that Medivh is definitely going to go in the books. And Genji also taken away, of course, but that could also have been a strong pick for Melody C, obviously. So the Garrosh is secured by Wind. Most likely no Stitches shenanigans unless they want to go for double tossing, double hooking, which I don't think they will do.
Yeah, but Garrosh is still a little bit less threatening to a Diablo, so I doubt SPT will be unwilling to pick it if that's the style they want to go for. If not, a Noob's still pretty good here. Arthas is okay here. ETC is fine here.
Yes.
They have options.
Options they do have, and the Stukov definitely seems like a support with, you know, good tools to keep them at bay. We saw CZ8 yesterday, wreaking absolute havoc on the enemy team's backlines. Soa just was punished and pummeled quite heavily. So, yeah, can they do it again? That is the big question. Garrosh, of course, was also used by SPT quite frequently. Nisaka basically on a whole different level today. Yesterday, sorry. Today, he's going to face Wind, though. And already, the Malfurion secured immediately before it gets banned. And Junkrat. All the chaos, all the long-distance poke against Hanzo and Stukov. Seems good to me.
So as it does to me, lots of poke, lots of follow-up engage from where Garrosh flips someone in, if you can set up a good concussive mine or even a steel trap. And if not, the Malfurion roots can also be pretty effective for a Garrosh follow-up. In fact, you saw them being used to great effect in the last game by the Stitches as the follow-up to that main hook.
Yeah, very nicely done. So what are you going to take out? What are you going to ban now against CE? Probably an Alufal hero, but what is there left to ban? Maybe a Greymane? I think Alufal is a very deadly Greymane.
Any counter-immortal race makes sense to me, or a second tank seems to be the option.
We're playing on Sky Temple, by the way.
Oh, yes, we are, aren't we? So globals usually, but they've all really dropped out of favor. So
yeah.
Solar laners make a lot more sense than as my brain has failed me today.
It's interesting because you could have actually, you could have actually expected SPT to go for the Malthael themselves, right? Percentage damage against Garrosh seems good. But looks like they want to rely on other weapons, maybe a Tychus. Maybe even a Diablo once again, because the percentage damage that Diablo adds to the equation later on after the devastating charge can never be underestimated, especially not from a Garrosh.
Let's see what we have. Probably a tank ban, probably someone like Diablo or someone along those lines. Maybe ETC as well, because he does have that global potential, which on this map is quite important. Those are the two options that immediately jump to my head. That's kind of tank. I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take the variant ban. Makes me happy. It shows that the rework seems to have done its job of making him a little bit more viable in the competitive scene again. Although we have yet to see, of course, any of the DPS builds. Up to this point, it has mainly, exclusively been the Ton, for a good reason.
We'll wait to see from SPT what they have in terms of a front line, because so far it is relatively non-existent. Needs to be something very sustainy that can really sustain itself, so it doesn't take too much of a strain onto Stukov, because Junkrat will be picking it, and preferably something with some kind of escape. A noob fits into the second one, but can struggle with the first. ETC struggles with both. Blaze is pretty reasonable in both, and is also a solo laner for them, so that works.
So they're going for the Zeratul. Really interesting to see now, because both Blaze and Zeratul are Soap heroes, right? Normally played by Soap. So either they're going to run a main tank Blaze now with Soap and Zeratul, or someone else is going to play Zeratul for the first time, probably Melody C. And then Soap is going to play the Blaze, and Misaka is going to be the main tank.
Yeah, I think he's played it before, Melody C, but
he can
I would not know off the top of my head. I will check.
I mean, a player of Melody C's caliber is definitely going to have a strong Zeratul in his backhand, I'm pretty sure. You never know.
So as well, sword by hero name Zeratul. 1 game.
Okay, and he won that?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's over all of his career as well. Let's check Soap.
Now this is interesting. Now they could run another assassin potentially. The Tracer being locked in. That's why the variant ban was occurring earlier, and that's why the Garrosh was picked first. So no taunting available at all against the Tracer. And what do they have to shut her down? The Stukov Silence, yeah, that could work. The Hanzo Arrow, maybe. Are there any dedicated Tracer counters available? Still any
really
reliable CC effects? I wouldn't hate. I'm gonna go crazy here. I wouldn't hate a Chromie.
I mean, I still think they need a second tank. Blaze can solo tank, but I wouldn't hate if they did. Diablo's still around. They have a single point and click there. I think that's honestly their best option, personally. Also, by the way, Soap has played Zeratul twice. Yeah. He has a 100% win rate.
Exactly. He played it yesterday or the day before, or the week before. So that's why I was so curious, right? Because I never expected Soap to be the super mechanical player god that plays heroes like Zeratul very well. But oh boy, was I wrong.
So maybe this is solo tank Blaze. I wouldn't like it, but maybe it is.
Let's see what they're going to do. They could go for a Diablo. Yep. And they do exactly that. So well prophesied, Tetcher. Because Diablo is point and click. As Tetcher said, he's very reliable against the Tracer, especially near choke points, like near the boss area. Could be near temple area, for example. If you take a look at both drafts, Tetcher, who are you leaning more towards to? Who are you feeling a little more?
CE's draft certainly looks more fleshed out, and actually like it synergizes together quite a bit. However, Tracer's made out of paper mache, and that concerns me when you're against a Hanzo, a Zeratul, and a Diablo. And of course, there is the setup for the classic Void Prism into Apocalypse build, and that concerns me when you're up against it anyway, especially when SPT should be being able to deal with it. I've got to lean for SPT in this one. Their draft looks really like less synergistic, but it has the wombo and it has all the tools needed to just do anything.
And even if the Apocalypse were to be on cooldown, for example, there could still be the attempted Dragon's Arrow into the VP. We saw that fail several times yesterday, I think, when I can't remember the team that tried to do it, but it was definitely not SPT. So a team of SPT's caliber could very well execute it, and then a Dragon's Arrow from downtown stunning everyone once the VP expires could very well be the key to success. Whether that's going to be the case or not, we're going to find out in a few minutes from now. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for the blue team, SPT. Currently down 0-1 against CE with Molly on the Hanzo, Melody C on that Blaze, Misaka going for Diablo, Soap on Zeratul once more, and ZZH is playing the Stukov.
And on the right, it is going to be CE 1-0 up with a Lufalon Tracer, Wind on Garrosh, 365 on Malfurion, KTY on Junkrat, and Zuyu bringing out the Cow God. It's ETC.
All right. 2 full tanks, if you will. No bruisers, no Sonyas, no Leorics whatsoever. CE relies on a massive, massive front line, although ETC can sometimes be played bruiser-ish, if you will. If he goes for stage dive, he's going to be able to split push a lot. He's actually going to be able to build a little bit more aggressively in terms of talents as well. So I don't hate it, especially not on Sky Temple, where Global still have their use. Immediately rotating onto the bottom solar lane here. Tracer trying to hold it. Lufel, of course, being a good Tracer, and with the changes to Tracer, Tetra, she's now more of a sustained auto attacker and not that much of a spiky burst mage.
Yeah, I mean, we still see her built like a spiky burst mage, but you see her played a little bit safer.
Right.
I personally wouldn't mind seeing more untouchables and stuff like that to really work with the extra attack speed, but it's still a lot, not the extra attack speed, sorry, the extra attack damage that she now has,
yeah.
But it's still very rare.
It's still a little unique. And we're going to see whether Alufal wants to commit to this all-in approach with the Untouchable at level 4, stacking up her auto-attack damage, but losing all of those stacks upon death. So
yeah, I really doubt it.
Yeah, I think so too.
Unfortunately, we're almost certainly going to see Parting Gift, and Tracer just the exact same build as she used to have, just played differently.
Keep in mind, of course, that the Quantum Spike at level 10 is now not really scaling as well anymore with maximum HP, so Diablo should have a safer time, actually. It was Molly taking the Pulse Bomb to the face on the Hanzo. Enough damage for him to get zoned out, but nice Mercenaries securing by CE, and they now have the Knights pushing to the top and the Mercenaries and Siege Giants in the bottom defending as well. So this is already a little bit of an advantage for CE, but they need to make sure that Melody C on the Blaze in the top lane won't be able to clean it up just like that. Oh, actually, good timing.
Both teams heading towards their level 4 very quickly. But like I said, CE potentially about to get some good structure damage up here. Diablo is in position for if anyone gets too far forward, but Junkrat making it much harder to defend as Melody C goes for a ride. But Stukov in position with that silence as we see the counter push in. Soap also moving forward, but not able to lock anyone down. Everyone from CE able to back up, and Kendrick, it's untouchable.
It is untouchable. Alufal is going for it, so now count very carefully the number of deaths on Tracer, and just equally as important, the number of kills she was a part of, because we're going to see a lot of auto attack damage potentially if Alufal stacks it up. So he's definitely going to pray to the old Overwatch gods and the news.
So let me break this. Let me break this down a little bit for you guys. Tracer Parting Gift. The whole reason that Tracer you would always go for that is because she's so hypermobile. It didn't matter if she died that much. The whole point was she'd jump into the backline for especially for heroes like Hanzo and try to blow them up. The reason why Untouchable, even though it is technically the better talent than Parting Gift in terms of overall damage, was not picked since the rework, is because Tracer had increased cooldowns on all of her teleport abilities, Recall and Blink, making her much less safe, meaning that it's even riskier to take Untouchable. However, look at her allies, ETC, with Speed Metal, looking for a kill here, by the way, and getting it here, and Garrosh, who will have into the fray later on. Now, Furion, the best healer with her. Tracer is in the best possible scenario to be able to take the risk and go for this build.
So the Speed Metal here, ETC becoming a pseudo-Tyrael, if you will, providing movement speed to everyone around him affected by the Rockstar aura. And if you take a look at it, he went for Proc Rock, which means a longer duration on the heal, right? So this could be...
He's doing his best Lucio impression.
Yeah, very true.
Nothing but auras. So there you go. And Tracer's gone for bullet time, even for herself as well, just making herself as mobile as possible.
Alright, so healing, movement speed, Zuyu will have it all in the late game, becoming the most useful cow of them all. So, Blaze trying to go for a flank, gets interrupted by Wind though. No kills, actually 2 kills have happened, but I don't think Tracer was part of, so she probably wouldn't have had any stacks in the first place. So no stacks lost, time to feed.
Not the way I've heard that particular statement go before.
In any stacks, time to feed.
There you go, that's all good. As we see Blaze barely saving his top 4. Good job with Melody C up there, giving his team a little bit of time. And as such, we see CE just rotating elsewhere onto the map, gaining value that way. Wind acting like the angriest ward you have ever seen, hovering around, seeing if anyone comes in to interrupt his team.
Alright, right? As we can see here, literally 0 stacks on the untouchable for Tracer. Now Zuyu needs to be careful. He power slides to safety. Well done. The next temple, of course, will be in the bottom. So these siege giants need to be dealt with. Every tiny bit of health you can save on the structures could be all the difference between the lasers getting more value or not. They now need to escort their own mercenary camps. It wouldn't even surprise me if 365 went on to heal them with a regrowth. But of course, in the middle of a team fight, that is not something he can do.
Early C misses his thrusters, gets chucked into tower range, eats a pulse bomb, but survives. The sheer tankiness that Blaze has sometimes is astounding.
But Tetra, this was all a 4 versus 5, right? So the fact that CE was actually the ones who put on all the pressure onto their foes who were outnumbering them is quite admirable. In the meantime, Junkrat, he was clearing so many minions, basically securing the level 10 single-handedly. Now we see Tranquility, more protection for the untouchable Tracer, stage dive as predicted. Tracer still going for the spike bomb. Percentage damage, although it was weakened in the latest balance update. Looks like that is still going to be his choice against double tank.
Yeah, 2 very high hit point tanks. We see the game of throws between Wind and Diablo, both of them just chucking each other around the place, trying to find the better opportunity. Stukov, though, will eventually win that game with massive shove, but he is not involved as of yet, as Prokhorov is completed by ATC as he grabs the Bruiser Camp and is prepared to join his team at a moment's notice.
Exactly, so they either will commit fully to getting a little bit of temple value, or ETC is going to be pushing it all the way through top lane, but Blaze is already here. Now, this is a good indicator for ETC to have that global advantage, to have the momentum there. But he's just holding his own, trying to protect the mercenaries up to this point. It looks like exactly at 50%, SPT gave up control over the temple, and now it is CE tearing down those gates in the bottom lane.
Very reasonable. It's a safe amount to get. They don't want to die, seeing as if they manage to make CE overextend, then SPT will be able to try and make a boss. And they can't afford to die when they have that kind of opportunity available to them, when they have Hanzo with a full scatter arrow build.
Yeah, Hanzo is now fully geometry sized. How can you even say that? Fully geometry...
Geometryized would be the term if we were going for this non-real word.
We just did it.
Fantastic. CE continue to guard the boss. Very clever. Once again, when you have this kind of Hanzo build, this is always a threat. You gotta keep an eye on it.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see some potential boss skirmishes to unfold here, because I think both teams have fantastic boss capabilities, right? ETC with a knockback, we have Junkrat with the knockbacks, but by the same token, we also have the Bunker, the Apocalypse, the Dragon's Lair, the VP. I can already predict this, Tetra. I think we're going to see at least one heated boss battle sooner or later. Uh-oh.
I think you are right. Self-scouted by Wind, who looks like he wants to get involved. Throw Misaka, and Indomitable prevents Misaka from leaving. Alupal begins to mosquito around the edge, dropping it, but VP for the follow-up. Zeratul barely survives. Riptide to prevent any kind of follow-up. Dragon Arrow completely misses as Molly able to leap over the wall. Riptide now going to be focused on Misaka instead, as he is the one separated from the team. Thrown straight up, straight down. Early C comes in, gives him a bunker, but Diablo can't get into it. He has full souls, though. He will be back. But the chase continues, looking for Melody C, but he's just too tanky.
That was so weird, Tetra, right? It looked like Junkrat and Zeratul were on the same team, but they weren't. So the VP actually worked in favor of Junkrat here, being able to use his own Riptire as a follow-up onto the enemy VP. That backfired quite heavily for SPT, and they now find themselves in a 1-level disadvantage. That could be huge. 2 temples activating in 10 seconds from now. SPT, though, with really good soaking, I think they will be able to equalize it sooner or later, but... ooh, that is already quite the game we've got on our hands here. When 2 of the best teams in China, the 2 best teams in China actually clash, we will see a battle of epic proportions.
Tracer now has a singular stack, and however, though, she has the main reason why this build can work, and that is the Ricochet talent. Wind is potentially going to die. Tranquility being dropped here, good focus, thruster packs coming in onto Wind, massive shove, pushes Tracer away, but Dragon Arrow misses, but it's still just going to be a kill onto Garrosh.
They sacrificed the Orc so that ETC could hold on to that top temple. I think he could have actually joined the fight a little earlier, peeling for his buddy Garrosh, but looks like that was not meant to be this time. And they don't even need to Tetra because look at the CE's structure advantage. They already have so much of a lead with 3 forts still alive, with the only remaining fort for SPT now getting destroyed thanks to ETC, though this was good decision making. They prioritized the map over helping someone in need, sacrificing a hero for permanent damage with that fort. Beautifully done by CE.
They are still looking pretty strong and pretty ahead here. Like you said, structure advantage very heavily in their favor. You're seeing a very long wraparound, though, coming in from SPT. ETC knows he's kind of rumbled here. He's going to have to stage dive, and he does, and immediately sends his team up for a boss. The rotation from SPT has to be so quick if they want to react to this. It will be scouted by Stukov, but are the rest of the team going to be in time, Kendrick?
Are they going to be in time? Tetra arrived relatively late here. She's the main source of damage onto the boss. They're dodging the stun once more. The concussion mine is already placed. The preemptive rip tear to keep them at bay. Here it comes. The roots are good as well, but is it going to be enough?
It interrupts the Stukov silence. Dragon Arrow is in. Boss is taken. Now they're trying to turn around. Taunting. Blaze. Boss stun on Melody C, but he gets in the bunker. Zeratul does as well. Zeratul popping out. Gets a good VP. Can they do it? Where's the Apocalypse? Diablo waiting for it. He doesn't have it, I don't think. As they move forward, Melody C goes down. Zuyu dropping to soap him, but Alufal is causing tremendous pain and damage with that ricochet. And he's shredding for the team. There's the Apocalypse as Diablo comes back, and it's not enough. Another stack is achieved. Can they get more? ETC looks like he wants to chase, but Misaka very fast. Alufal will get another stack and another one as he will pick up Misaka before he gets back to the base.
Alufal there, that is a happy tracer if I've ever seen one. Not only winning them the boss and the team fight, but also stacking it up on his bank account. Wonderfully done. The untouchable is starting to shape up really well. And that is a disaster for SPT. They lost every single member. Zeratul, he was the one they needed to have at the point, but he was also the one who arrived way too late. The VP was okay. It actually caught a lot of people, but it was too late, Tetra. With the VP, maybe they could have isolated the team. Maybe they could have stopped the Riptire, but it was not meant to be this time around.
Yeah, they didn't have the Apocalypse available. If they had, they could have followed up on that Void Prism, but they didn't have it. As such, it just took a little bit of setup time for Tracer to just get kill after kill after kill. She now does even more damage. She got more unstoppable stacks and got locked and loaded as well. This is the maximum possible damage output Tracer build. It is terrifying if you are unable to lock her down and deal with her, and currently SPT can't.
Yeah, they are in a lot of trouble, SPT, that is, because right now, all that CE needs to do, they don't even need to fight them anymore. They could just basically decide to kite and split temples if there are 2 temples available, and then they will always remain that lead. They will always remain the keep lead here because bottom already so much weakened. There's still 2 forts available, albeit the middle fort looks a little weak here for CE, but they have a very comfortable position now. So using the full invisibility here to scout the moves of CE, but yeah, they wanted that fort. That's nice, but they need to go back immediately.
So pulls back behind his wall. Doesn't want to get caught out, but once again, you can see the sheer value of that Q build. This is the kind of thing that can win them the game in the late game, especially once Zeratul, or if Zeratul, gets to level 20. Once he gets those Mending Strikes, or that Nerazim Healing, I think it's called.
It's the Mending Strikes.
Fantastic. He is able to get so much sustain in team fights. However, Melody C also someone who can get sustained. Focusing onto Tracer very appropriately here. Apocalypse is good with the Riptide. Buys time. Tracer is in the Void Prism. Zuyu very nearly goes in as well. Power Slide gives Tracer time. She blinks back and survives. They turn it round. Bunker is going to get deleted here. Good by Crow to get the armor, though. This could be their chance to turn it round as they're dropping good. Stukov with a wonderful silence. 365. Barely survives though. Zuyu with a 3-man stun. And Alufal shreds the final members. And that is going to be CE at minimum taking a key.
Did you just see what I saw? Like, Zuyu's stutter stepping body blocking was so cool to see. Not giving any inch, not giving any quarter to SPT to retreat. This was just so well done. Wind and Zuyu on those 2 main tanks, shutting down the holes. They were making sure that no one escaped. Even when the bunker expired, they were already there to escape any, or to prevent any escape paths for the Blaze and the Diablo. Like, they're going for the core right now. And even if they can take it down, which I think with Tracer at the moment, they should be able to because of untouchable stacks, then they will have done so much damage they could easily close it out later. But they don't even need to go back. They take the victory right here, right now. 2-0. CE have done it. They overcame their greatest rivals in China, winning the game easy peasy with a 2-0 on Sky Temple, one of the maps that SPT actually is good on. They chose it.
SPT